This video demonstrates working with projects in Clarizen. We'll go through the steps of adding a project and adding some basic milestones and tasks. We will create a linkage between tasks, and we will assign the tasks to users and groups. And then last, we'll mark the project as active. To create a new project, there's a custom action wizard here. It's QTS project creation. And you'll want to use that because we have the projects organized into portfolios by group, and using this wizard will ensure that your project gets added to your portfolio. The name is, you can really give it any name you want to. The site, you would add your site, or there's an option for all sites as well. Under product, it's a required field, but you'll just enter the closest product to it. For deal type, we use this for provisioning. If it's an internal provisioning, just say internal project. And the project manager is, typically yourself. You can designate someone else as project manager. The manager, now the manager is a little different from project manager. The manager can be at a sub-project or a task or project level, and that person has the rights to manage the resources and tasks within that hierarchy. So if you're creating a project, you use yourself as the manager. But particularly if you're making a project with a number of sub-projects, you might want to designate someone else to be manager of individual projects under that one. Say OK to create the project. And we get this confirmation here, and you notice here there's text I can click, and that will open the project. By default, just mention here that by default, when you open a project, it defaults to QTS current project. If you're setting up a new project, you're going to want to use some other fields for setting up your schedule. So the best view to use for that is the scheduling view. We have another video that talks about working with views, but if you use the scheduling view, it has some other fields here that we'll go through in a second. Now, I'm going to start adding tasks, and I can do the simplest way is to just click on the line here and start adding the task, and just tab across. Work is the amount of work effort you expect this task to take. I mean, the number of hours of work, and I'm just going to estimate this is 4 hours. And you notice here that I can either type 4H or I can use this drop down here. But I'm just going to type 4H. It's easier, 4H, and then tab to the next field. And duration is how long I'm going to allow the person or group to get the work done. So I might say I'm going to give them 2 days. Even though it's only 4 hours of work, I think it'll actually take 2 days to get the work done. And again, I'm just going to type 2D and then tab over. I can give it a start date and a due date. And you can type, or you can either type the date or click on the calendar widget here and bring up your date. And now over here under resources, you have a couple of options. Most of the time, we'll just assign a task to a group and let the group pick up and assign the task to themselves. So for provisioning example, we do that. And you can just assign that to the group, and that way everybody in that group is going to now see this task, and they can assign it themselves. But if you know that it's going to be a specific person working on it, you do have the option of assigning it to someone specifically. And to do that, you can just start typing here and select them. You can also you can add multiple people. And you can also, another way is just to click this dot, dot, dot here, and it brings up a list of everyone, and you can find people, and add them to the list. So we'll just leave that for now. And let's add another task and do the same. And we'll just leave all that default for now. But let me change the dates here. Now, so that's just basically adding tasks. The other thing you can add here is you can get more complicated, and you can start adding milestones and sort of organizing and indenting and nesting your tasks under one another. So a milestone is sort of a logical grouping of a set of tasks here. And to add a milestone, start at the project, highlight the project, and one thing just to be careful about, if you click the blue text here, it's going to open the project or the task in a new page. So click somewhere else on that line, just so the line's highlighted. I'm going to say add a milestone. And give it a due date. And I'm going to add another milestone. To add a task under a milestone, and in Clarizen, your tasks are always under the milestone they belong to. So to do that, highlight the milestone and add a task. Repeat that again. And so on. And if once you get your tasks all set up, you can do more, get a little more complicated. For example, you can drag and drop things if you want to rearrange them, but we'll just keep this demonstration simple. You can indent to put something under, like under this milestone now. You can outdent by using the indent and outdent up here. And to link two tasks, to set one as a successor and one as the predecessor, you want to highlight click on the first one and click on the second one. They don't have to be in any particular order. They don't have to be under the same milestone. They could be like these two tasks. I want to relate them to one another. Here I've got these two tasks highlighted, and you're going to click link. And now I can say, which task depends on the other, which comes first, which comes second. We have different dependency types. We won't go into all of those, but your most common one is just finish to start. The second task, the first task finishes and then the next one starts. And you could build in a lag, like the second task can't start until 2 days after the first one or things like that. But for most people, for most use, you're just going to accept the defaults here and say OK. So task, so you're going to see over here now that I have a task, and it is a predecessor of this task. The last thing we'll look at is you see now that this project here is in draft state. And so that means that people will not see this as active or ready to work. So that gives you plenty of time to get the project set up, get things rearranged the way you like them. When you're ready to publish the project and you want people to see it and start working on it, you're going to highlight the top level of the project, mark as active. And we now see that the project is now active, it's executable, and ready to work. And that concludes working with projects.